Hey guys, Katie Taylor here at scrapinkaty.com, where I show you how to preserve your family's memories through the art of scrapbooking. I am playing along again with Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches, where we have a sketch every day of the month of March. I missed doing day 2 and 3, so I'm actually going to combine these two sketches. They're just really good standalone sketches, but they're also some sketches that would go really well with each other. So I did this, the last series is just to kind of catch up on sketches, made these 1 page into 2 page and kind of explain the elements that allow you to do that. So I'm going to do that. I have pulled out some photos from a summer trip we took. I've already done one layout, kind of like the title page of this trip. So I pulled out additional photos and then the rest of my paper collection from Beach Party. So you can see here I only have a few stickers left. And then the scraps for that one layout from day 2. And then I have made this layout for day 3. And I'm going to kind of walk you through that and then also leave a link so you can watch how I actually did the process using my Cricut. And this was actually made for a card years ago. I can't even remember. But I basically just stretched it into a 12 by 12. For that left layout, since it has all the strips of paper that go from left to right, I am pulling out my Versamat. My glass board also has those grid lines, but it's a little bit hard for you to see on camera. Just going to apply a little bit of adhesive just so my layout will stay put. And then I can always take that adhesive off with my rub and remove eraser. You can see here I just have several scraps. Now some of these I actually cut into scraps. Otherwise they were actual scraps from my other projects. And I'm kind of wanting to remember that right side is going to have that beach or that water cut out. So I definitely want these on there. This is another pattern that was in there. There was a crystal blue. Is this crystal blue? What is this? Carolina. Yes. Crystal blue is an old color. So I have this. Now this was the cutout, and I believe I'm actually going to use this as a mat for my photo. So I'm not going to cut that up. I have some striped paper because you guys know I love striped paper. And then I have some fun beach towels. Now, even though we weren't at the beach, I think that these icons will also work for these river photos. Then I have some red, some Sundance, and then some green apple zip strips. So the sketch actually did more like a rainbow color, which actually is pretty good. I don't think I'm going to stick to the rainbow color, but you want heavy weighted colors up at the top to kind of bring your eye down. So I am going to just kind of lay these out here, and then I can always cut these to size. And then I think I'm going to come over here with this stripe, and then possibly a beach towel. And I think I'm just going to use the other end that I cut off for that. And then I want to come over here with the waves. Need to make sure the waves are going the correct direction. And then come with, I think, the skinny piece of green apple. And then some Sundance. Now keep in mind that the sketch, a lot of this showed, but because I am going to use this to anchor it, I'm not so sure it's gonna show. So I think these are more like going to be the ones that kind of show some white base behind it. And then I can come back with this color. And then, you know, I just really need another zip strip or another hard dark color to anchor the bottom. I'm going to bring this in, and my photos, the 2 photos that are going to go on this layout are actually 4x4. So I'm trying to decide if I want this piece to be landscape or if I want it to be portrait. I think I'll do portrait. And then I'm trying to just see how much of these I need, because if I don't need a whole lot of these, then I can cut them. I don't have to really hide all of that. I went ahead and got all of those paper strips taped down, and now I'm adhering that little water spot or whatever. I did use some very thin 3D foam sheets. It just adds enough dimension, but not adding a whole lot of bulk to the layout. Now that I have the idea of my photos, I am going to add some stamping in between those pieces of strips of paper. It just kind of looks bare. In the sketch, it really didn't look bare, so I thought I would like it, but I ended up not. So I'm using Background Element Stamp Set, one of my favorites. I'm going to use it several places, including up here with Candy Apple. And then I'm going to use the paint splatter for some Candy Apple in between the striped piece. And then I'm going to pull out Life's a Hoot card making, and there's these little tick marks, and I am going to use shortbread ink just to kind of add at the end of that little icon pattern paper, which in the end, in the close-ups, you'll see that it actually looks like a beach towel. As far as that bluebird wave paper goes, I'm going to add some little polka dots from, and they're not really polka dots, but I'm hoping that they look kind of like water splatter. And I am inking that up in bluebird, again, from the Background Element stamp set. This little sun, again, is from the Life's a Hoot card making stamp set. And then I am going to pull out my Versamat to line up my title stamping. Now I am going to be using the Celebration alphabet. It is on sale. In fact, all of these stamp sets are on sale. I'll leave a link down below to those. And the best thing about the Versamat is you can turn it over on the back and use it just to kind of get a clean, crisper image on your stamps. I am just going to use my T-ruler to line up the word river. And then, of course, we have two R's, so I'm going to move that R to the front of the line. And then pick up those letters now that they're straight with one of my acrylic blocks. And I am going to be using Bluebird ink. It's a little bit darker than the Carolina, but it's not as stark as like a black ink. I do need to re-ink that up, but good thing about acrylic blocks and polymer stamps, I can just line that right up because I can see through my block. And then I am going to stamp that R at the end, again, repeating that inking process. And one of my favorite things to do is also add a different alphabet. This one is the Daisy alphabet for the second part of my title. Again, inking it up twice to match the other. That same little paint splatter that I put in between the Candy Apple stripe, I'm also using just here and there on this piece of Carolina. And I think it looks like water spots, not really paint splatter. I'm going to go ahead and add the sticker from the Beach Party sticker sheet. I love that summertime is going to point to the right layout, and then of course Paradise points over there to the picture of the river. So at the bottom, I mentioned earlier that it needs something to kind of anchor that bottom. So before I put the zip strip down, I'm going to pull out that shortbread ink and again, another image from the Background Elements. And I'm just going to use my masking tape to mask off that pattern paper in the shortbread just so my ink doesn't get on it. I'm going to stamp one at the bottom, and then I realize that I don't have any foam underneath there. And this is a pretty solid stamp set, so no problem. Each one of our stamp sets comes with a foam insert, so I've just inserted that underneath the layout. I am also going to use some more of those little splatters. I'm hoping that the shortbread tone on tone actually kind of looks like beach sand, even though we're not at the beach. And then, of course, I'm going to adhere that zip strip down toward the top of that shortbread pattern paper. Now that Candy Apple is just really stark to me. Instead of adding more stamps, I've decided to pull out my sanding block and sand that up. And then I'm just cleaning it up with a lint roller that I get from the Dollar Tree. That is just one of those tools that is always near, and you can just peel that away, and then it is fresh for a new one. So in between the green apple zip strip, it needed something. Remember, we didn't put a stamp. So I've put those little flip-flops from the rubber shapes, and then I'm adding just a little piece of that leftover zip strip just to kind of bring it in together. Now, as far as that top left by the title, there's kind of a blank spot. So I have taken 2 of the green apple stickers and just put them on White Daisy cardstock. And I'm just going to fussy cut around those just so it'll pop just a little bit more than just adding the sticker to the layout. Now I am going to add some 3D foam tape on the back of these and then get those adhered down. And for the most part, this is that sketch number 2 for that left layout. Now I apologize, but I just cannot get that right layout done today, but stay tuned. Hopefully tomorrow or Monday I'll have that posted. Here are some close-ups of those paint splatters that I really think look like water, as well as that title. You can see how crisp and clean that is. And then, of course, one of those stickers from that beach party sticker sheet. Now, don't forget, I will leave links down below to all the products that I used, especially the Stamptacular sale, where you can get all of the stamp sets that I used today on sale. Don't forget to click the Facebook link for Christy's Beautiful Life, 30 Days of Sketches, so you can go check it out and see what everyone else is creating. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend.